What do we do?
It's season 2.
I
That's
mean,
all I know.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube.
Yeah,
It's
it's been a
season.
week. We took a break after that black hole.
Yeah, but like it's season 2 and everyone's gone.
Yep.
So what do we do?
I'm gonna watch more YouTube.
What are you watching on YouTube?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
You watching Junk House on YouTube? Because now we're on YouTube. Plug.
Nice. You know why that's a plug?
Because this is Junk House.
It's a psychobilly freakout!
Season 2. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Season 2?
Season 2, where we're this time I'm portrayed by a different person.
Yeah, this is Caleb Burley as portrayed by John Leguizamo.
Yep. You got it.
Can't you
Got
tell?
it in one. Can you tell that I'm John Leguizamo now?
I can.
Yeah.
Because we have cameras
You just
on
have
and
the
you
aura.
see the face of John Leguizamo.
Right, I'm
in
looking
front
at
of
you right now, John Leguizamo.
Mhm.
But
What a
even if the
beautiful man.
cameras were off, the aura that you protrude.
You really pick up
It's
a
quite
Sid the
strong.
Sloth vibe coming from it, you know?
Mhm.
And I've never once experienced John Leguizamo without an erection. And I'm fully torqued right now. So, must
Some
be
things
John.
will never change about Junk House. That's for sure.
I think I want to find a new angle to bring to my strange horniness.
So can I tell you a funny story that also has to do with Pokemon? But the other day,
Yeah.
so in Pokemon Go, there are things called community days where it'll be like community day, Combi, and there'll just be like, no matter where you go, like 50 Combi around you that you can catch, which is like really cool. 'Cause,
Yeah.
It's usually Pokemon that are kind of hard to find, so they do that so you can catch them, level it up. So about a week
Yeah.
ago, my wife says, "Yo, this weekend is gonna be Community Day Goomy." And I misheard her and thought she said Community Day Gooey. And I looked at her in shock and I was like, what kind of Reddit fetish is that? Is this like furries but for goo people? Not that like furries is just a fetish, but that was like the naming parlance of the thing plus E, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
then
Gooning?
yeah. So then she was just like, what are no, Goomy. And it took us like a solid like minute and a half of going back and forth for me to figure out she was talking about the Pokemon Goomy,
The dragon Pokemon.
the dragon type,
He's
which
a little
also
slime boy dragon.
which was also good because I had a Pokemon that I needed to catch 30 dragon type Pokemon for it to evolve. So
Ooh, yeah.
yeah. Pokemon Go is a strange game.
It's a very strange game. You feed
Yeah.
candy to Pokemon of their fallen brethren, and it levels them up.
Yeah.
That's
That's how it
all
works,
that needs
yeah.
to be said.
Because that's because they're like, oh, you can transfer this Pokemon to the professor and he'll give you candy. So I always just say, yeah, I gotta kill this Pokemon so I can get the candy. And Olivia's always like,
He's
transfer.
100% got a Pokemon grinder in the
crusher,
back that
yeah.
he crushes them and he processes them into candies.
You know, like those trash compactors that like you put in a car and you get a cube. It's like
Yeah.
that, but
Yes.
for Charizard.
Where do you think they put the car?
The car is the cube.
No, I
think
put in
it's-
a car and then they give me a cube. What do they do with the car?
I think it's
Car is
underneath.
cube.
No. There's got to be a trap door or something.
And that trash
they-
that trash compactor guy, Cordell,
Yeah.
he just wants cars. That's all he wants is broken
What's
cars.
he doing with them?
He's making a supercar. He's making one supercar because in every broken car,
Oh.
there's like one or two parts that still
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So he's taking all the parts that still work, and he's building a supercar from all the broken
Oh.
cars.
You ever seen
Why?
Megas XLR?
No.
No. What
It's
is
a
that?
mecha cartoon where the head of the main guy's mech is a car, is an old hot rod. That's what that guy's doing. He's making a mech out of the cars.
He's doing Transformers.
What does he
He's
know that
doing
we
Megas
don't?
XLR.
What does he know that we
No.
don't?
The Trash Man?
Yeah.
I think he knows the ways of Transformers and Megas XLR.
But
and
like,
Gundam. We're also, let's be real.
what is
And
coming?
Neon even going.
What is what?
Gonna happen? What is gonna happen that he's building this for? What does he know?
Army.
Just one robot army?
It's a lot of cars. You can build a lot of armies out of them cars.
Where is he going to put the armies of his sleeveys?
You know what doesn't make sense about Transformers?
A lot.
What?
A lot for real. But like, they gain mass. I don't care how much
Yeah,
whooping and
they do.
jooping and flipping and flopping you do. When that beetle turns into a car, ain't no way it stands 15 feet tall. Like when the beetle turns into Bumblebee, it is not 15 feet tall.
No, I had the toy. I had an Optimus Prime toy growing up.
Well, listen, I had the Transformers 2 Devastator toy that was 5 different construction equipment vehicles that then merged Megazord style into one big toy.
Terrifying.
It was incredible. It was really hard to make stand up, but it did eat all my Digimon figures when it attacked them.
No.
Oh.
So,
Not God.
have I told y'all about the plots I had? The plots and stories I do with my toys growing up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is untread ground.
So I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had a lot of toys, and I would make these storylines happen. I had a bunch of Digimon toys. I had a bunch of like Ben 10 toys, Transformers, all of it. And I picked my favorite ones, and I would tell storylines. Like they'd each have different names. Some, if I knew the Digimon's name, because the Digimons were the main characters, if I knew their names, I'd use them. But if not, I'd make them up. And I would give them special powers, and I'd have whole plot lines and recurring villains and new threats to stop. Like it would continually go. But I also like would just kind of repeat the same storylines multiple times.
Yeah.
So it's like there were plenty of times that the Red Baron, who's a Power Ranger toy that was missing an arm, that the Red Baron would attack them and then get defeated pretty easily because he was a low-level villain, and then he'd kind of turn good, and then he'd turn bad again, and then he'd get eaten by Devastator when Devastator, who's the most dangerous being on the planet, would come and like slurp him up into his big black hole mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
Transformers
good.
gain mass when they transform. It doesn't make sense.
And where did the Transformers come from? Did they have sags?
I
Yes.
have to believe that on Cybertron, they just had a factory, and then they touched it with the
No.
Allspark, and that made them.
No.
I think that's actually what it is. They are robots.
Yeah.
But I like to think that they have sloppy, oily.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all ever seen an airplane refuel in flight?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's,
yes, I
yeah.
have.
It's so
That is-
cool.
That is
Pretty sexual.
precisely how Transformers have sex.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Except they have a word that Cordell is famous for saying. So, like a Transformers would have it because it's kind of a car.
No, not doing it. You're not getting me.
Come on.
Man, you know what? Fine. A Transformer would have a cussy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate. We
Once a
appreciate your
season.
time.
Once a season, y'all can make me say that word.
I'm
Man,
glad
we
we
used it in the first ep. Damn.
both times.
Both times.
did we
Both
use
times.
in episode 1. That's what let's talk about what we talked about episode 1 of Junk House. Because that was, you know,
That was
episode
a
1 of
long
Junk
time
House.
ago.
Are we retreading ground so quickly?
No. I'm not necessarily retreading ground. I just want to like look at what we talked about and see what we, what do we think now? You know,
Yeah. Wasn't
just
it the Lines of Succession?
Lines of Succession, Cordell's Journey,
How many
which,
people had to die before I became the president of the United States?
which I still think a
Not that
lot,
many. Oh, wait.
a lot. You gotta kill. Like, if we're following, like, at what level does Cordell's current status become like president? A lot of people. But if we're talking about
A
can
lot of
Cordell
people.
run for president? Yes.
Would you
Once
vote
he's
for me?
35. Would I? Yeah, I think so.
What if my politics were terrible?
Well, I wouldn't vote for you unless
Unless.
you said I could be one of the secretaries or something.
Ooh.
I don't want to be a vice. That's too much pressure. Like a
I wanted you to be
secretary
my
of
vice.
transportation? Yeah.
Okay. You want to? So I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
It would work because my big thing I'd run on, my big platform, building a railway system, high speed railway
Same.
across the
Yeah,
country.
that's what I would
Yep.
run on
Like-
if I was going
like-
for president.
That it's the easiest thing. It would create jobs for decades to come. It would bump the economy. Like the car lobby would have me killed, but it would be worth it. So I would run on that, which means you being my Secretary of Transportation, I think we've got something cooking there.
I would make it to where the one railway that's a little different.
Oh,
A
Because
little goofy.
there's some that gonna have tunnels because you
Mhm.
gotta go through a mountain or something.
yeah.
And in one of those tunnels, and I'm not gonna say which one, it's gonna be every time it goes through a recreation of that one scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Gene Wilder's yelling at you. And everyone's just good, but you're also legally required to take acid before it happens, so you just end up having a real bad time for like an
They
hour.
just pump it in through as a gas.
Yeah, we just drug the citizens of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
great.
think multiple of them would have to be well known as haunted tunnels as well, because that's an important
Mhm.
thing. A railway cannot be without death.
Mhm.
And it must be haunted in some capacity. I've been in some haunted railroad tunnels. They're spooky.
What was that?
And- in one of the tunnels, the train just stops for like a whole day.
Mm.
No notice or anything, and then it keeps going. It's fine, but they just, just to trick you.
And in one of them, as you go through the tunnel, there's just like a certain number of people in your car with you. And then as you get out the other side of the tunnel, the train car has one extra person.
Mhm,
Oh
mhm.
man. That means we gotta
But that was
hire
unplugged.
one person for that train that gets on at a secret place and then hides.
Well, you don't even have to stop it, really. You just have them up in a compartment. Put them in a little box.
Now, I want to say there are two folklore people for America that are specifically trained people. You got
John Henry, the steel
John
driving
Henry,
man.
John Henry, the steel driving
Henry.
man, and Casey Jones, who,
The YouTuber?
yeah, Casey Neistat Jones, the YouTuber. No, Casey Jones, who reportedly died in a train crash, but he died trying to save everyone with one hand on the whistle and one hand on the stick, on the brake.
Oh, yeah.
That's also exactly how I jerk it.
One hand on the whistle, one hand on the...
I'm back, baby.
Oh my God.
We're back.
But
We're back.
there is a song that I love about Casey Jones where it portrays Casey as a Union scab who the reason he died is because he refused to go on strike and tried to run the train alone.
Oh no.
Oh, so we
And-
get that good message in there.
do.
Don't mess with the
Pro-union.
union, baby.
Don't bust the union. Don't be a union buster.
There's so many better things in this world you could bust than a union.
Ghosts. Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're,
Moves.
I was going to say, if it's busting ghosts and busting nuts, there's one guy that can do both at the same time.
Oh man, I've been clean.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we have to talk about it, but
I've
You don't
been
have to talk
clean.
about it. You know what we can talk about?
I'm a good man.
Mhm.
When we read reviews and really bands in the mind.
Yo!
Welcome back, season 2. We're doing it, episode 1. Let's fucking go.
Let's go!
This is a half-star review from Julius Tenenbaum.
Thank you, Julius.
Thank you, Julius Tenenbaum.
Terrible. One big race. No depth.
Oh, that's so many good
Oh,
movies.
ding,
That's so
ding,
many good
ding.
movies.
Yes.
Furiosa, a Mad Max saga story.
I haven't
No.
seen it yet. No spoilers.
No, it's not Furiosa.
Mm.
It's not Furiosa.
You know, I haven't seen it yet, so I thought maybe it was one big race. Because I'm excited for that movie.
Ding, ding, ding. Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf.
That's a movie?
Y'all
Is
ain't
that the one
seen
where
it?
they team up with wacky racers?
Yeah, well, kind of. That's the one where Shaggy gets hit with a beam of moonlight while at the movie theater and it turns into a werewolf when he hiccups. And then they get taken to Dracula's castle because he needed a werewolf because his other werewolf retired from their wacky racers style monster race. So Shaggy's a werewolf and has to join into the race, and he's also got a girlfriend. Yeah, it's great. Is it not
Yeah,
that?
It's not that, though.
Dang it!
Dang it.
It's not. It's okay. Here's a
What's the
half-star
point?
review from Ellie Welly.
Thank you, Ellie Wally.
The only reason I gave this above a 0.5 is because of all the hot women in it. Literally could not give another shit about this movie. It was really background noise for me while I made my Letterboxd watch list. Only sat through because my brother wanted me to, and I love him. Edit. I wrote this before finishing the movie, and I decided to take it back down to a half star because of the breast milk fetish, and I also hated the sped up fight scenes. I think it was supposed to be more chaotic, but it looks like Instagram reels, brain rot, compilations.
Is this Mad Max Fury Road?
It is Mad Max Fury Road.
You
How
were
can you
close
be
with doing
so wrong? Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
figured
that
it would
one,
be
that's incredibly
one of them,
wrong.
Yeah, wild take. That movie is at least, in my opinion, like this is like a 4-star movie at least. You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
that movie is
incredible.
very, very good.
I do agree.
Now-
Some of the sped up fight scenes are a bit funky to watch.
It
Well,
can
the
be a little bit.
it's intentionally disorienting. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
great.
I will say you get bonus points because the reason I am bringing it up is because I watched Furiosa with Fielding, and it was really good as well. But I don't want to say anything because I don't want any spoilers.
Cordy ain't seen it.
Oh, so
Yeah.
would you if you could rate it out of 5 stars, letterbox style?
I
With
think
no-
my
yeah.
final score would be a 3.5.
Okay.
It's good, but it's more of good in the Mad Max way. Like, I enjoyed it, but it's also just really goofy, and like George Miller doesn't care about canon, which is not a bad thing. It's just a statement of fact. So it's just all over the place and great and goofy and weird. It's a good Mad Max movie.
Good.
Good. That's what's needed. The world needs a good Mad Max movie, like at least once per generation.
Yes,
We've
I
gotten
agree.
like 2 this generation,
Yeah.
so we're
Hey,
crushing
our parents
it.
got 3, So, well,
Hmm,
2 good ones.
there you go.
But yeah, Mad Max is sick, dude.
Mad Max is really I just love
Sick.
the post-apocalyptic. Okay. So many things do post-apocalyptic, and they do it in, like, a cool way. Because like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a post-apocalyptic setting that I'm not at least like, "Oh, that's interesting," you know? Because like,
Yeah.
Fallout, real cool. Love Fallout. Mad Max, it's a very different take. I'm trying to think of other post-apocalyptic
Australia.
settings, but yeah,
I mean,
Australia does do really good at it, in
in a
general.
way, I
Mhm.
consider Borderlands to be
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I can
Kind
see
of.
that.
It's on a different
Kind
planet, but
right.
it has the vibe of it.
It has the vibe. It's a different planet, but it's also the planet is like the Wild West and everything is trashed. Like it is kind of apocalyptic in the sense that society does not really exist in any
I think
meaningful sense there.
I think there's
Yeah.
also another genre that I really like, which is the post-apocalyptic, where you start to
Yes.
see, like, society forming again. Like, lore-wise, I think Breath of the Wild falls into the post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, the
'Cause it's
far
like
Yeah.
future.
yeah, the far future of it, you know?
Yeah, there is something, and really a lot of things are post-apocalyptic if you look far enough back in the lore. So I know what you're saying, like an apocalypse has recently happened and we are picking
Mhm.
ourselves back up, but
Yeah.
like anytime you have like, oh wow, this ancient race existed and now we have all their ruins behind, like that's post-apocalyptic. That whole
Yeah.
that whole society
Yeah.
vanished, but a lot of times it's like so far back it's not relevant. There's a trilogy called by N.K. Jemisin that's super super good. It is called the Broken Earth trilogy. Um, and it is in a world that is basically perpetually post-apocalyptic and
Oh, dang.
post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
Um, and it's got magic because the whole thing is that some people are born with the ability to the easiest way to describe it is cause and stop earthquakes with their mind.
Okay, sick.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
the more complex way to describe it is that they, with their mind and thoughts, can kind of manipulate kinetic energy.
Okay. Hell yeah.
But the danger is like you have a newborn baby who can cause an earthquake without realizing it.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
S-
That's what
So so like the whole problem is that like this world is perpetually they call them seasons that happen so much. Like they have names for the different apocalypses that have happened because of the like that they call seasons, and it's usually because of these people. Um and so it's like the world is perpetually, and like the people who are born that way, they're called origins. They're always being hunted down. They're either fully strictly controlled by the government that does exist, or they're being murdered by the people that know what they are.
that's
Like
what
it is brutal. It's really good.
there was a book series, and I cannot remember what it's called, but I remember, like, parts of you know how that is, when it's like, "Oh, I read that forever
Yeah.
ago." But
Yes.
it was about a family who all of them had superpowers, and the narrator of the story, like, was the first one born without one, supposedly. Um, but, like, some of the powers, there was, like, one guy and, like, none of them were great, but they were kinda cool and funny in a kid's book way. One of them, when he sneezed, the earth changed somehow. So when like, one particular time, he sneezed and then Idaho formed.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, like, so the earthquakes kinda reminded me of that because it was just like that happens, but,
Yeah.
like, most of the time, it's like he sneezes and then a tree grows or something like that. Like, the earth changes, something
Interesting.
small like that. But I remember there was one, power that I remember reading about it and thinking, "Oh, I wish I had that." Where it was this lady was able to if she heard something going on, like, through a radio or through a TV, she was able to grab the sound waves out of the air and put them in a jar to save them for later.
Whoa.
But, like, once she
Whoa.
opened the jars,
The
they
sound's
played
gone.
and they were gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she was just like, she had jars of the day JFK was assassinated and, like, all of her children's, speeches they ever gave and, like, stuff like that. I'm just trying to remember the name of the series.
Um, the first thing I found was No Ordinary Family.
Maybe?
Well, no, that looks like it was a TV show.
Dummy.
I'm gonna be searching for this in the background. Children's
Interesting.
I do love an apocalypse, though.
Yeah, you gotta
is-
love them.
It is such an easy way narratively to have a lot of interesting world building that you don't have to come up with new stuff for, really. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like your world building can be how people have scavenged what remains to do what they have now. Like, it's that simple, you know?
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that's what I'm doing for the next Wonderful season. So
exactly.
it.
Or
found
What
oh,
is
what is it?
It's called Savvy. It's one book.
savvy.
Yes, and it's about the Beaumont family. And all of them get powers when they turn 13. Um, and so you're learning about this girl. Her name is Mibs. Uh, it's less that she's not born without a power. It's just that at the start of the book, she doesn't know what her power is. And so as you're reading the book, you're learning about her power and how it's manifesting and growing. Um, and
Oh, their
yeah,
savvies are their powers. That's neat.
yeah.
Well, Caleb, there's a trilogy.
I didn't know there was a trilogy.
So Savvy and then Scumble follows a cousin of Mibs. And then Switch follows Mibs' sister.
Ooh.
Interesting. Yeah, I literally Googled kids book series about family with powers and that finally popped up. Thank you, internet.
What
Uh,
would your savvy be? Because they're like superpowers, but reading them, they're kind of weird. They're
They
a little
gotta be
odd.
they
Yeah.
gotta be weird.
So,
it's like
for the-
Alcatraz and the Evil Librarians.
I
Like
love
those
that series
those
so
powers are
much.
weird too. You know?
Um,
So come up with a strange thing that like on its nose could be bad that you would have to make good.
Like, for example, some spoilers. Mibs, her power, her savvy that she finds out is she can hear the thoughts of people when they have ink on their body, such as
Huh.
like tattoos and stuff. But also one of the other brothers, Samson, people are just stronger around him. He makes other people stronger.
He's a party buff.
yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
And the sneeze, like they're all kind of weird.
the sneeze, yeah. The one that I think of the most often is Jenny Beaumont, who's like the grandma of the group. Is her savvy is that she's perfect. Like she literally cannot
Whoa.
make a mistake, and even her mistakes become perfect.
Wild. I bet everyone hates her.
I would have to read the book again to remember, but yeah.
Dang.
So let's think about this. Also, thank you. It was r/tip of my tongue that had that book.
Ooh.
That was able to do it.
That's weird. I just Googled Savvy. It was easy, dummy.
I think my savvy would be, and it's something I've thought about as like a not so cool power.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I would be able to touch things and refill them.
Oh, we've talked about this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We've talked about this one. I love that.
I think that would be it. And I've thought about that power since I was like 13. Just like whatever was in it before, I can touch it and it's refilled.
Infinite beer.
Infinite beer. Or if I have somebody I don't like at a party and they're kind of drunk, infinite piss.
Now,
Infinite
do you,
piss.
what part of them do you have to touch to refill their bladder?
I think it's a little bit of I touch them and hope that works, or I refill every part of them, which means I also make
Ooh.
them full of food.
Oh, yep. Or if they
Yo.
just puked full of puke.
Told you,
Oh.
I would not want to. Yeah. See, that's the drawback. Is that it's kind of like tricky.
You're a bad person if you're doing that to people, making them full of puke, Caleb.
Yeah.
You gotta be better.
I would
than
only
that.
do it to villains.
Okay, you can make villains full of puke.
You have to food poison them.
But
Poison their food.
since we've talked about that one before, what a power I would really want is to be able to just flip through a book and have read the book.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's cool.
My weird one would be any door I try is always open.
Ooh.
Always unlocked. It's kind of hard
It is kind of hard to think of one.
because it's they have to be weird. They can't be normal.
Yeah.
I can reach into my pocket and grab whatever of my things I need out of it.
That's so good.
Ooh.
Now, is it contained to things that you have already?
Things that are mine. I have
Okay.
to have in some way conceivable ownership over this thing.
I think
Okay.
that's
But
such
also,
I think that's
it's
genius.
gonna depend on the size of the pocket too. Like I own my couch, but I can't pull that out of my shorts pocket.
Ooh. But you could
I think
be
that's a
Pocket
perfect
Man.
stipulation.
I could have a big old like hoodie pocket, reach in, get it, whatever, like that sort of thing.
I think that's great.
I think that's dope.
I think we all three.
Now we all
really
have our
cool powers.
savvies, and we can write our own continuation fanfics from this 2008 children's fantasy series.
Yeah.
We got it. We're gonna
We
win.
did it. We've done it.
Speaking
We're
of
gonna win.
things that are a continuation, it's time for the Junk House Everything Draft. Now, this one,
Yo!
Sammy's gonna have to deafen in just a few seconds because
Yeah, dummy.
Sammy's not gonna know what we're drafting. Cordell, I actually told you what we're drafting,
And I forgot.
and you forgot, which is perfect. And I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for 2 weeks now, so I think I'm ready to go. So,
That's
Sammy,
incredible.
let's get you deafened.
Don't
and
you dare
then-
listen.
Cordell,
Yeah.
what we're drafting is the best first bite.
Oh yeah, the best first bite.
So, I think it's gonna be good. And so for the listeners to know and for Cordell to know, I will accept for Sammy's answer best bite or stuff like
Mhm.
that, you know?
Okay, best first bite. Give me a second, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
just talk briefly so I can
Mhm.
think about this too, to
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
look
yeah,
like we're
yeah,
having more
yeah, so we
conversation
can
because
really
it's
take
really
note about it.
complicated.
It is really
Okay,
complicated,
okay,
yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Keep talking
And
for a
so
second.
and
I
so
need
like so what kind of like the thought I was thinking, like some examples might be like the middle of a burrito where everything is, or
Right. It doesn't have to be
you
the correct
know
first bite, but the
no, it
best
doesn't have to be
tasting
the
first
correct
bite.
it just has
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
the
yeah.
best first bite.
Oh, that'll make it more chaotic. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you
Okay.
think you're good? Think we can bring
Yes.
Sammy back in? Okay.
Let's do it. Let's.
We've discussed it's a complicated one. So I'm because of that, it's okay if you're a little bit off when you're guessing the category. Like that, we'll accept we're playing horseshoe rules with the category guessing on this one.
Okay.
So Cordell, would you like me to go first?
Yes, Caleb.
I'm going to draft truly a perfect bite. The dead center of a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Okay. Okay. I am going to draft the miltiest part of an ice cream cone.
Oh.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna draft the perfect bite of an orange chicken with some rice mix. The perfect
Perfect
ratio.
ratio.
Okay.
Okay. This one's a little bit controversial.
He's gonna say it. He's gonna do it.
It's about time we did this.
The first, or when the first 10 minutes of a game prepare you for everything else in the game.
I'm going to draft an unsuspecting victim's neck.
Okay.
Well, that threw everything out of whack for me. Because I was gonna say when the Pokemon you catch is all the IVs you wanted, and then my thing was gonna be like most satisfying moments are like awesome poggers things. That's my final answer for the
Okay.
category.
You want it so
Okay.
when you catch a Pokemon with perfect IVs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is the most satisfying or the most pleasing. But I don't know where this an unsuspecting victim's neck. I don't know where that
So
comes in.
you know what? I think for playing this for this category, I think Sammy gets it. I think I think that is close enough.
I mean, what was it? And we can judge together.
It is conceptually, and I'm sorry I ruined it in the beginning.
Caleb straight up said it
I
and kind of
accidentally
pissed me
said it.
off.
Yeah,
The perfect
yeah.
bite?
Perfect bite.
The perfect first
Yeah.
bite.
The perfect first bite. And
Okay.
so conceptually, that does lead into what I was thinking of, like, you know when, like, you play the tutorial of a game or a demo of a game, and it's so good that you're like, "Ah, that little bite got me into the game."
Like the opening of Mega Man, where the tutorial is not really a
Yes.
tutorial. It just teaches you the game without being like, hey, this is the game.
Yes. That's a perfect little bite. And I think, you know what? I think all of those also share, into the most satisfying part of something.
Yeah, that's
So,
what
I
makes
think
the
it
first
yeah,
bite so pleasing because it is
Mm-hmm.
satisfying and
that's
Yeah.
well rounded.
satisfying
Which
thing.
an unsuspecting victim's neck is in fact if you're a vampire.
Oh.
Okay, so Cordell's a vampire
If
in season 2.
Cordell
unconfirmed.
It's
Yeah.
possible. So, Cordell, you have to tell us if you're a vampire or else it's entrapment, first of all.
Indictment.
Well, invite me in, and I'll tell you.
Do you wanna come into the junk?
Yeah, I would love to come into
You
your
wanna
junk
come into the
house.
junk house? Yeah, you
Yeah,
can come in.
thank you so much. I've been standing out on the porch this whole time.
You
Now let
know,
me.
just like I'm John Leguizamo, is Cordell if we rearrange the letters in Cordell's name, does it spell Dracula?
Drook
Hold
Al.
up. Hold on. So, if I take Dracula
Mm-hmm.
and I accidentally typed it with 2 A's at the end, so we'll ignore that. And instead put it like this, it Caurdal, it kinda looks like Cordell.
Now let me tell you a little tale, friends. Shortly after the black hole, you know, the one that consumed most of the town and left us really with minimal connections
Mhm.
and kind of a fresh start of things, but what we now call season 2. I was walking
Yeah.
home, and on my walk home, got bit by a vampire. I'm a vampire now. Yeah.
Does that mean are you allergic to anything anymore?
No. It's a different
That's pretty
kind of
sick.
vampire. It's not the kind that necessarily is like, blah, I want to suck your blood. It's more the kind that like bites you and, drinks your bad feelings away.
You're a good vampire.
A Poggers vampire.
Well, I
Cordell
mean,
the friendly
it depends on your,
vampire.
like, bad feelings are important. They do inform us. They do help us like survive and grow and live.
No.
No? Never mind.
No,
I
they
take
suck.
that back. They suck, and I'm glad I'm going to drink them. Yummy, yummy.
And Caleb must be a vampire too because his name can make black.
Oh no.
And Samantha must be a vampire too because
Hat Masan.
No, that means that.
But what about Hat's Ma'an?
Now, Sammy, you have to be honest with us because your name Sammi can be rearranged to kind of spell Massey. Are you the star of Corey in the House, Kyle Massey?
No. I'm Messi. I kick that ball right into them goals.
Oh my gosh. So now we have the perfect trio.
Two vampires
Lionel
and a Messi.
Lionel Messi, a vampiric Don Leguizamo, and a vampiric Cordell.
Wait, why are you a vampire?
Because my name
It's
kind of
black.
feels blech.
No, I'm the.
Okay, I'm just John
have to.
Leguizamo.
Thank you. What's Kyle Massey up to these days?
Nothing good.
I imagine not.
I think he went to prison
good.
or something.
I'm looking. Okay, personal life. In 2021, he was charged in King County, Washington on one count of immoral communication with a minor.
Dang.
He sent nudes to a 13-year-old girl.
Hey, that's not good. I didn't know that before.
Samantha, I'm glad you're not Kyle Massey.
I'm glad you're not Kyle Massey.
That's why.
Thank you for not being Kyle Massey.
That's why I said it was messy, because I thought I remembered him doing something bad.
Yeah, apparently he really, really did.
That's bad.
That's bad. You don't do that.
Don't do that.
Although, can I say I do have a slight concern for this season?
Huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Last season it took us the better part of 50 episodes before like we really had a supporting cast of characters that were showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, the first episode of season 2, and we already have a lot of added complexity that you're John Leguizamo, you're Messi, and I'm a emotion vampire. Like,
it's okay.
We
we'll
are really,
I
think we may be jumping the shark here.
Here's the thing. We're going to forget about this bit by next week.
Yeah.
That's how Junkhouse works. We set up bits and then we forget about them unless they were really good.
We put the bits in the mail and we ship them out.
That's true.
Straight for years.
Okay. Then if any of this sticks, we should be concerned though with our growing level of complexity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like right now, as Junkhouse stands, it's just the three of us in the house.
Just the three of us in the house.
Just the three of us.
No Grimbus.
No Grimbus. Grimbus is gone. Grimbus got sucked away after
Dun got sucked into a black
4
hole.
episodes total. But
oh wait,
no.
And it took the basement too. We don't even have a basement anymore.
Yeah, we don't have that weird reverse soundproof room either.
Yeah, that really sucks. I like.
We don't
that
have
room.
the reverse soundproof room. We don't. We also
the Jorkin room we called it.
The room where you couldn't hear anyone, but they could all hear you.
Yeah. The room where they can hear you scream.
In this room, they all hear you scream.
I once worked at a restaurant that basically had a reverse soundproof room, which was the walk-in refrigerator. Because when you went in there, you couldn't hear anything. And this is one of my favorite stories. Is somebody didn't know that we could hear them when they went in there, and so it was just like every few days, if they got frustrated, they would walk into the walk-in fridge and then just scream for a second and then walk back out. And we
Good.
always heard them, and we just kept our composure. And it took us until that restaurant shut down before we were like, we could hear you like every time you went in there and screamed, right?
Was this the one I'm thinking of?
Probably
Yeah. Okay, that's
the
hilarious.
one that I worked at that shut down. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep. It was great. It was great and good and fun. But yeah, it's just the three of us in a normal house now.
Just the three of us in a normal house.
Just the three of us. We are in
Now,
a normal house.
What could be funny is if somehow I wrote a new theme song that was just like a 90s family sitcom intro, that every time we added a new character, I added them into the theme song.
I was just thinking about that.
That would actually be so much fun.
That'd be hilarious. Like, it starts off very small, but every time we decide a character is worth keeping around, it gets more complex.
And then just every 100 episodes, complete reset back to nothing.
Yes, and it's a new theme, new concept. It would mean that we ceased using the Reverend Horn Heat's theme song.
Which is sad, but I honestly think it might be a wise decision to move away from that anyway.
It may be. This may be what we need to do.
This might be how we do it.
This is how we do it.
You should let us know if we need to send off the Reverend and instead move on to somehow I will write an 80s/90s themed, like Too Many Cooks. Honestly,
yes, I was.
it's
Yes,
just
like
us
like
turning
too
into
many
Too
cooks.
Many Cooks.
Yeah.
Which
And
would
it'll be
very
hilarious to
funny.
listen to the additions.
Like it goes to episode 200 and you start listening to the theme song, and the theme song is 30 minutes of the whole episode level of just
Yeah.
and then the second 30 minutes is it playing again after we say thank you for listening. So
appreciate y'all. See ya.
Y'all are the best. Bye.
oh man, maybe it is time that we do that. Maybe
I
it's
think
time.
that's a genius idea.
I think so.
Now I'm gonna have to look up and learn how am I gonna do that.
Easy.
And see, here's the thing: writing music is surprisingly hard. You're right. I should stop. So anyway, that's what. Yeah, and like right now, but it's just me and you and Sammy in this house. There's no Carl. There's no Grimace. There's no Jimbles. He only lived for 30 seconds at most.
He loved Elvis. He loved Elvis so much.
Oh, I think that was somebody else. Jimbles was the clown. That
Sorry.
balloon
Sorry.
animals of these-
Jorts McGorts loved Elvis.
Yes, George McGort loved Elvis. And like, you know what? Maybe without telling Sam, we should just bring everyone back. Slowly, over time.
You know? I'm so glad they're gone. You're right.
You're right. They're gone. They're gone, and we have to live with that.
We do. We have to live with, in a weird way, this soft reboot we've done where we have to remember all of the things of the past, but they are not here to plague us in person.
Right. Yeah. Like we remember Carl.
We do.
We remember John Normalman and his
they are gone.
Amount of Gatorade.
They're
wild
Gonski.
amount of Gatorade.
They're Gonzo.
Well, no, Gonzo has never been on Junk House.
That would be difficult to manage. I
Yeah.
think he's expensive to have on.
Probably. You know who I feel like would be cheap to have on is Sweetums.
Sweetums would show up for a ham sandwich, guaranteed.
I guarantee. Like, I think if we're ranking the Muppets in order of how likely they would to just show up on Junk House,
Sweetums
is number one.
Yes. Followed, actually, surprisingly, by Rolf. That dude's
I think
super
Fozzie
chill.
Bear's solid number 3 because I feel like
for
Fozzie Bear
sure.
would be like, I can tell jokes, waka waka, and then we'd be
Yep.
We're basically 3 Fozzies.
In a trench coat.
Is that
I
rude to
think-
say? Should I have said that?
I think it's accurate. Three Fozzies. I think of the three of us, I'm the most Sam Eagle.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Who am I the most like?
Oh, that's.
Am I wild saying Gonzo?
I was thinking Gonzo too.
Wow,
I think
that's
Cordell's the
awesome.
most Gonzo.
That's
I
awesome.
think Sammy.
Say
I
it.
think Sammy's.
I can take it.
I think Sammy's pretty Kermit. If we're being real about it.
That's not who I thought you were going to say. I don't know who I
Who
thought
were
you were
you
going to say,
think-
though. That's the thing. I'm one of the chickens. No.
Camilla.
Camilla.
Hey.
Gonzo's
I'm down
chicken
taking Kermit,
wife.
though. You saying I'm
I
the
just-
star of the show?
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda.
I think so.
I think of the three, I think all three of, well, I don't, because here's the thing. I also take inspiration from the Muppets in a lot of my characters, to be real. Like, if
Yeah.
you really think about it, all of my characters in That Wonderful are Muppets.
Ooh.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think, okay, what if I shifted the wording slightly?
Mhm.
What if all of them could be Muppets?
Yeah,
'Cause,
because
like,
like Chuck,
Chuck
Like
is
this season,
very
Chuck.
humanoid, but he could be a Muppet.
and like kind of the bit that's an unfortunate bit, because if you're listening to this and you want to listen to Not Wonderful, please do. Chuck has anger issues,
So
which
many.
which it kind of I haven't talked to y'all about this. It kind of hurts when we talk about it because I realize that Chuck is based off of me in high school, so
Oh,
it's
no.
just kind of
Aw.
yeah. So it's kind of hitting that spot, but
Angry boy chuckles.
Angry Boy Chuckles is just so angry and does not
He's so
know his
angry
own
and
strength.
precious.
He's a good boy.
He is. He
He's just-
tries to be good,
He
but
tries.
then William is just a vampire who's not good at being a vampire. Like that's kind of the whole bit.
It's kind of count the count.
Am I crazy to say that William kind of feels like Asterion? But
Pre-Asterian, Asterian, yeah.
not as morally confused.
I think that's okay because my vampire voice is just slightly deeper and slightly British, which is just
That might
Asterian.
be- yeah. But yeah, you
And that
you
was
were
William.
William was Asterion before Asterion even existed.
So if you like
Whoa.
Baldur's Gate 3, listen to Latin Club. That's
Yeah.
what that means.
They're the same thing.
They're basically the same thing.
Okay, but you're bringing up a good point because we did a one shot forever ago of like
Mhm.
a Muppet Babies, but I don't
It
think
was,
that ever saw
yeah,
the
It
the
never
light
saw
of
the
day.
light of day because I tried to write it in 30 minutes and it did not work.
Yeah, which is I mean fair because Muppets you got to take time with. You got to sit down.
You really do. Oh my gosh.
We could have a Muppet themed episode of this. We could have a Muppet themed. Isn't that wonderful?
I mean,
What if I
May
came
as
to
well.
episode one day to record and I was just a Muppet?
Like we're saying you're a puppet that you're holding up to the microphone.
Yes. Like all you see is a Muppet.
Big fan. Do it.
big fan of that.
Love
Okay.
Very big fan. We love the Muppets.
it. Big Muppet
We-
people around
yeah.
these parts.
But you know who is a Muppet of Muppets, if I may say,
I do think I know.
for what could be the latter of its run,
Possibly the
The-
laster of its run.
possibly the laster of its run.
The sun setting.
It's the
We're gonna kill him.
He is a Muppet.
Reverend Ornate.
Thank you, Reverend Ornate. I appreciate you.
We love
And
you,
he
Reverend
wrote our
Ornate.
opening and closing theme song, Psychobilly Freak Out, off the album Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em. I'm gonna
Yep.
have to figure out somebody else's if I write music, somebody else is gonna have to take over crediting me for the music because I'm not crediting myself every week. That's gonna feel awkward.
If you start writing the music, I'm not crediting you at all.
Good. That's how it
I
should
mean,
be.
fair. We just say
We-
thanks, Caleb. We don't even say why. We just at the end of each episode we just say thanks, Caleb.
At the end, no, but we already have our things we talk about, so Caleb will have to find a new thing to talk about other than, or just say thanks, Caleb, and move on. Like Caleb can thank himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll only do it when I have to go back in and stretch out the music and add.
Every time it changes, thank yourself again. Yep.
Well, if you like us, you can rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We kind of announced it, but we'll announce it again. We are now on YouTube as well. If you just search Junk House Podcast, one of our episodes should pop up. Yeah, all of our episodes are going to be on there now. They're just like the static image of our cover, but they have all of the audio. Please check us out there. Yeah, we also have TikTok and Twitter at Junk House Pod. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All of that is true. But what's not true is that we got an email from the real John Leguizamo.
Oh my gosh, he's already suing us.
And he said, hey, Junk House, I wanted to give you an anti-lawsuit, the reverse of a lawsuit for your incredible portrayal of me, John Leguizamo, portraying Caleb Burley. So for this work you have done, I'm giving you $1 million.
What?
No
An
way.
anti-lawsuit, yeah. So that's from John Leguizamo, the real one. He just wants us to send him $1,000 in Apple gift cards so that he can actually like get us the money too, because it costs money to transfer $1 million.
That's easy. That's easy. We can do that in a day.
Sweet. We'll start gathering those gift cards later. If you want to email us and give us $1 million too, you can do that at junkhousemailbox@gmail.com.
And you know what?
I say every week.
Then I'll be say every week.
Like we say every week.
We gotta
Like we
some
say
new
every
stuff.
week.
Like we say every week.
Like we say every week, yeah.
Like we say every week.
It's a psychobilly freakout!